In the ancient hills of Israel, the land lay heavy under the weight of fear. For 20 long years, the people lived in silence, broken, oppressed, and waiting. The roads were empty, the markets quiet. Even the warriors had lost their courage. A powerful empire ruled them: Jabin, king of Canaan, and his ruthless commander, Sisera. 900 iron chariots patrolled the valleys, their wheels grinding the earth like thunder. For Israel, resistance seemed impossible. But somewhere, beneath the shade of a lone palm tree, a voice still spoke with heaven. Her name was Deborah. She wasn't a warrior. She wasn't a queen. She was a prophetess, a woman who listened. Day after day, she sat beneath her palm between Ramah and Bethel, and people from every tribe came seeking her wisdom. They didn't come for judgment alone. They came for hope. Because Deborah didn't just see what was, she saw what could be. In a time when courage was rare, Deborah's words were like fire. And one day, as she prayed, the fire turned to a command. Go, summon Barak from Kadesh in Naphtali. Tell him the Lord commands. Go, lead 10,000 men to Mount Tabor, for I will draw out Sisera and deliver him into your hands. Barak, a man of valor, but hesitant. When Deborah delivered the message, his voice trembled. If you go with me, I will go. But if you do not go with me, I will not go. Deborah's eyes did not waver. Her faith was steady as the mountain itself. I will go with you, she said. But know this, the honor will not be yours. The Lord will deliver Sisera into the hands of a woman. A prophecy spoken under the palm, whispered into history. At that moment, the story of Deborah shifted from a quiet voice under the tree to the sound of marching feet gathering in the north. 10,000 men, led by Barak, encouraged by a prophetess who refused to stay silent. It was no ordinary army. It was a trembling people learning to stand again. And above them, clouds began to gather. As Deborah watched from the highlands, the sky darkened, as if heaven itself was preparing for war.
From the north, the sound of iron filled the air. 900 chariots, Sisera's pride, his empire's strength. Their wheels tore through the valley like thunder rolling across dry earth. On the heights of Mount Tabor, Deborah stood beside Barak. Below them, the Canaanite army stretched endlessly across the plain. It was a sea of metal, and Israel's army, barefoot, trembling, outnumbered, stood waiting for a sign. Then Deborah spoke. Up, this is the day the Lord has given Sisera into your hands. Has not the Lord gone out before you? Barak charged down the slopes of Tabor. 10,000 men followed. And as they ran, the first drops of rain began to fall. At first, just a drizzle, then a storm. The heavens broke open with furious rain. The rivers swelled. The valley turned to mud. Sisera's iron chariots, his greatest weapon, became his downfall. Their wheels stuck, horses stumbled, the very ground betrayed them. Barak's men struck from every side, and in the chaos, Deborah's prophecy unfolded. Heaven itself fought for Israel. From the mountain, Deborah lifted her voice, not in fear, but in victory. March on, my soul, be strong. The Canaanite lines collapsed, warriors fled, the the storm raged, and Sisera, once feared by nations, leapt from his chariot and ran for his life. He ran north, away from the battle, through soaked fields and broken roads, until he came upon a small tent, isolated and quiet. There, a woman stepped out, calm, composed. Her name was Jael, wife of Heber the Kenite. Sisera recognized his husband's tribe. They were at peace with Jabin's kingdom. Relieved, he begged for shelter. "Please, give me water. I'm dying of thirst." Jael smiled gently. She gave him milk instead, warm, comforting. She covered him with a blanket, and as exhaustion overtook him, Sisera sank into sleep. But Jael's eyes did not close. She knew who he was. She knew what he had done, and she remembered Deborah's words. "The Lord will deliver Sisera into the hands of a woman." Jael reached for a tent peg, one of the tools every nomadic woman carried. In her other hand, a hammer. She stepped quietly toward the sleeping man, and then the sound that ended 20 years of terror. When Barak arrived, chasing Sisera, Jael came out to meet him. Her voice was steady. "Come, I will show you the man you're looking for." Inside, Sisera lay still. The prophecy was fulfilled. And on that day, Israel was free, not by the sword of kings, not by the power of armies, but by the faith of a prophetess and the courage of a woman in a tent.
The storm had passed. The ground, once soaked in fear, was now silent, and in that silence, a new sound rose. Deborah and Barak stood together beneath the morning light. Before them lay a land reborn, and there, on that hill, Deborah began to sing. When the princes in Israel take the lead, when the people willingly offer themselves, praise the Lord. Her voice carried across the valleys, echoing through the places that once trembled with oppression. Every verse was a memory, every line a testimony of faith and courage. Deborah sang of the tribes who answered the call and those who stayed behind. She sang of Jael, the woman who struck the enemy when no man could. "Most blessed among women be Jael," she declared, "for she crushed the head of the enemy." Her words weren't just poetry, they were prophecy fulfilled. It was more than victory, it was restoration. For 40 years, Israel would know peace, and every child born after that day would grow up hearing the story of the woman beneath the palm, the one who dared to lead when no one else would. Deborah's song was more than a celebration. It was a reminder that strength is not always found in the sword, nor in the might of armies, but in obedience. When heaven speaks and someone listens, nations can rise again. And though centuries have passed, her story still whispers through time. Rise, awake, Deborah, awake, awake, sing a song. Because sometimes faith sounds like a voice under a palm tree. Sometimes courage looks like a woman standing alone. And sometimes victory begins with a single word spoken in obedience. When we face our own impossible odds, when fear surrounds us and the enemy feels too strong, remember Deborah, remember Jael, and remember that the same God who sent rain from heaven still gives strength
to those who believe.